coming to you, Sarvesh, how did this decision making happen? What helped you to take a decision as far as the track that you want to choose in life?
Okay, so yeah, that is a question that you have to work for like 3 years, 3.5 years, whatever, to answer that question. So, like you come to college, you literally don't know what you want to do. Like 90% of the people don't know. So, like in terms of professional life, so the only solution I see is if you're very creative or something, then you might have an idea, but otherwise, generally don't know have an idea. So, what do? You actually explore different fields that are available. Let's say finance, consulting, analytics, pure tech, and etc. So, okay, now you have the list of fields that you have. Now, how do you proceed with that? You actually look for internships or trying to work with people, different people that can actually help you like get a perspective on what actually is the current state of the art and how people are trying to improve in different companies, different universities, etc. So if you ask me how I decided, so during my like in my third year summer I interned at Google. So that was a research internship. So at that time I had a flavor of research, and then in my second year I did another research intern under a professor. So I had a fair bit of idea what research job entails. Not a full idea, but yeah, a fair bit of idea. Then the second option that I had in my mind was finance. So I like in my third year, uh, winter, I did a small internship at a company in Mumbai, and then like in April 2020, I did a small like 20-30 days internship at another startup to get an idea about whether I'm interested in finance or not. So these small internships, like some of them pay, some of them are unpaid, but having such ideas, like having such internships, actually give you a live idea whether you would be interested in such a field or not. So if somebody asks me whether you are interested, like how to know what you're interested in, you would actually have to work on it. Like somebody telling you doesn't help much, in the sense that it gives you a clarity of thought ki kya kya options hain and all that, but you will have to at some point work in the field to get a fair bit of idea whether you want to pursue that or not. If you ask me, let's say higher studies, so I think for higher studies you need to have a clarity in the sense which specific topic you wish to work on. So for that also, for deciding that topic, I like you will have to work in the industry for a fair bit of time to know which field again. As per UPSC and others, I think I'm not mature enough to actually be in that field right now. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but yeah, not as of now. So that's why industry and finance. Yeah.
Was compensation ever playing a role in your mind, when you were choosing these internships or whatever you were doing before the placements happened?
Okay, so I'll just talk about the selection of internships. So before you approach anyone for an internship or anything, you need to like the only thing I need to make sure is that the mentor is working in the field that you are interested in, and he is at least a bit accomplished to actually guide you in the field. So work under good people, and like the money aspect doesn't matter much, because anyways, first thing is internships don't pay much as compared to the actual salaries that you will get if you get a good job. So also, like all if you combine all the internships that you do, let's say in your 4 years of college or 5 years of college together, that is even less than, let's say, your 3 or 4 months of salary, the first 3 or 4 months of salary. So don't even try to bring the money aspect in the internship as much as possible. Like sometimes if you go let's say another university and you have to work, so maybe a bit of money helps in the sense that it pays your expenses, living expenses if you're living in another city, but nothing more than that. Never think about like मेरे को इतना पैसा चाहिए, then only I'll do this internship or something like that. This company is paying more, this company is paying less. No, don't think that way. Think of the work profile, like whether you are interested in the work that they are offering, and whether you'll get to learn, because the push that you get from a small internship, or like by the push by working in a good internship, actually helps in building your profile. So I know of people like, okay, I'll talk about this later actually. Yeah.
So basically, if I have to prepare, the kind of content that is available is overwhelming, and because it is so much, a lot of time I get demotivated. So exactly what happened when you started your preparation, and what was the plan ahead?
Okay. So from my past experience as well, like during my JEE preparation and other preparations as well, so I was aware of the fact that if I want to do something, I'll have to create a proper plan, because if you just search online randomly, you will get a lot of resources which will confuse you, and most of the biggest confusing resource is Quora in general. So yeah, that kind of thing doesn't help. So I wanted that kind of mentorship. Then One thing that helped definitely was an interview at Cantilever Labs. Another thing that helped was a senior that I had a talk with seniors. So that these kinds of things actually tell you what you actually need to do for the interview, or let's say the tests, the quant preparation, the computer science preparation, etc. So in that sense, you need to create a proper plan. Key first, I'll do this, book these many questions, and all that stuff. Because if you don't have a clear plan, many you will have a lot of friends who are doing different stuff. You'll get confused what I want to do, what I do not want to do, and that just overwhelms you. It stresses you out, and that is not good for this phase. Because I can safely say this 3 months was the most stressful time of my life, and I can also say that I was still a bit organized, and still it was this stressing. So like I can't even imagine how stressful it would have been had I not been organized. So yeah, I think you need to have a clarity of thought, and then have some outside opinion, outside expert opinion, let's say Cantilever Labs, that can actually help you uh, have a clarity of thought in that sense about what to do, what not to do.
In general, if someone has to crack a top product development company, or
Yeah.
has to study something, if I have to ask you, give me 4 topics that I should be very, very strong at, then what are
Okay.
those
So
4 topics that comes to your mind?
one thing is definitely like DSA, which is data structures and algorithms, and like there's an advanced course of that which is called design and analysis of algorithms. Every college has these two courses in their second year, mostly second or third year. So yeah, this is the topic that they will ask. And like Google, if I talk specifically of Google or Amazon, let's say this is what they ask in the interviews. They ask you mostly DSA, and even I think they ask a bit of databases probably, but mostly it is just DSA questions, and you have to be good at it. Like you have to know the standard algorithms. You have to, in a sense, know be able to code at the moment. Like they'll ask you to code. They mostly don't ask you to compile, but still they'll ask you to code. They will ask you whether you see any error, optimize the code, what is the time complexity, and what are things that you can optimize for and stuff like that. So DSA, you have to know your data structures essentially, and I don't think there is any other
Because
topic as such. Sorry, yeah,
yeah. So go on, carry on, please.
yeah. There are a bit other topics that people ask here and there, like databases, a bit of SQL they can ask, which is a like the basic of databases.
Is it possible for anybody who's not from IIT or is not from computer science to crack companies like Google, Facebook? Is it possible? What do you say? Yes,
Definitely, yeah.
no?
So I have a friend. I had a friend in college, school. So, and he is currently in one of the universities in Chandigarh, and he like so yeah. Definitely, you have to work a bit differently if you want to get into good companies. He's currently interning at Amazon, 6 month internship. But yeah, so like you have to build your profile. So that's the case for both IITians and let's say non-IITians. And yeah, so definitely we get a tag, but still you have to build a profile. So some things that you can do, it's always good to have projects. So see, if you even if you prepare a lot of DSA, you will do well in the interviews, but you need to get shortlisted for the interviews. And the shortlisting for interviews is generally done on resumes. So you have to build your profile, you have to build your resume. The only way to do that is learn more and more and do projects that actually use what you have learned, because projects actually show your practical application of the learnings. So let's say you come in your second year, you have learned a bit of DSA, or learned a bit of let's say any coding language, and now what do you start with in second year? You don't know much in the second year, so how do you start with it? You do your maybe some self projects, or maybe under someone, professor or somebody, or at some startup, like learn some web development, learn some like Android development, stuff like that. You like one very good option is a GSOC, so Google Summer of Code. So that's what my friend did. So you have to make a abstract for what you want to do. You have to submit it. You have to get, you even I think you even get paid for that. That is a very good option. And if you do that well, it's a very good thing to have in your bag, in your resume, because that shows that you can actually work on a very good viable project and do well in that. So I have seen my friends they build their profile. So see, I'll tell you, you have to build your profile. The first internships, few internships might be unpaid. It's okay, but build your profile, try out a few things, learn a few things. Then once that is done, you will get shortlisted for good companies, and then it all depends on your DSA preparation, etc. So I have a friend who like built a profile for very long, then worked at Google, then I think Apple, now currently working at Microsoft. So yeah, building that profile happens slowly, I know, but you have, like, you can do it and it's possible. And like getting, I said, a Google, Apple, Microsoft, so getting till that Google was a tough task, but once you work at a good place, it's good to, like, it's easy to get a good push in at other places. So yeah, that kind of thing.